Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and this is my tips and tricks guide for Dragon Ball Super Broly. So as with all these styles of guide, it's going to be a long video, so if you want to skip around, there's timestamps in the video description. We'll be covering all sorts of topics, from the basics to more advanced stuff, everything in between. And with that said, let's start at the start here. Let's just go over his move list. So let's start at the start here and let's go over the move list. So our first move here is a command normal forward heavy, the headbutt. So the headbutt is a true grab. It's not as fast as the other grab, which we'll talk about in a minute here, but it is still a true grab. And being a normal, you can like cancel into it from any old string, all that kind of stuff, right? Also, from this grab, it is, since it is a normal, special cancelable. Meaning, you get that headbutt, go right into a special move, and just go from there. So while it's not going to be a cornerstone of your offense, it is one of multiple ways he has to open people up besides just the basic, hit buttons and hope they don't block, right? So it is a valuable part of the arsenal. Next up is the Raging Quake, and it's a fairly big deal. So it's quarter circle forward and one of your attack buttons here, and he dunks on you. And not only does he dunk on you, if he doesn't hit you with the direct part of his fist here, it'll cause a bit of a shockwave. Light goes about half-ish screen, and the medium and EX versions go full screen. So it's pretty good. Also, this is air okay, by the way, just so you know. So it has this use as it's going to be a combo ender a lot of the time, or something to facilitate you calling your assists into whatever. And in neutral, depending on what you're doing here, it's also really strong, like your beam. Your beam's a normal, down S, right? So go beam right into this guy here, easy hit confirms. If you also have a solid full screen assist like a beam, you can call your beam assist while you're doing your dunk, confirm out from there, homing dash, full combo, all that fun stuff. It's going to be a cornerstone of the game plan, to be sure. It's definitely one of his best moves. Now we have the Eraser Blow. So this is a move that OG Broly has as well, although, hey, it's a little bit different as it goes right up into the sky. So as a projectile, it does have an arc, and once again, if you're looking for more horizontal stuff, you have the base key blast, you got his beam, all that kind of stuff, right? It does just cover an odd angle, but you know what? It's good because this is a hard part of the screen to control, especially with people just, jumping back all day and all that kind of fun stuff. So it is good that he has something. And of course, being a Eraser Blow, if you do up close, everything changes here. It becomes a big special animation, and you just dunk on him. Now this is going to be prime Vanish fodder, like as in comboing afterwards and all that kind of stuff here. And there's a lot to it, and we're going to be talking about more later in the video, as one of his best uses is on block, oddly enough. But yeah, good for controlling the sky. If you hit them, you get a nice little cinematic. Also, the move is armored. As you can see here, only one hit of armor, just so you know. This version of Broly does not have as much armor as the other version of Broly. It is only on the Eraser Blow and on the Stand Heavy that have armor. That's it, that's all, I'm sorry to say. Still more than most, obviously. But yeah, so it is a source of armor, and just all around a really good move. Our next special move here is the Gigantic Fury. It scores back on one of your attacks. These are the throws, the grabs. So this is the light version I'm doing here, and if you are near the corner, and you can get a little bit of a combo follow-up here. Mid-screen, not so much unless you're going to vanish or use an assist. But yeah, it grabs people on the ground. The medium version grabs people in the air, as you can tell. So the air version here, as you can tell, it just gets people. It is also an anti-air. So just like a down heavy, it does have some invincibility against aerial attacks. So you have the one used for the ground, the one used for the air. Well, what's the EX version? Well, the EX version is both, basically. One, if you do the grounded version here, this is a combo from mid-screen instead of the corner. And if they are in the air, it turns into the aerial version. So depending on whether the opponent is on the ground or in the air, it'll just pick the appropriate one. So it's not, predictive, right? So if you start the move here when they're on the ground, then they jump, you're still going to do the grounded version. Vice versa, if they're in the air when you started and then they land, it's still going to do the aerial version. But still, it's modular and it's both. Grabs, obviously, for Broly are a pretty big deal. They're a little on the slower side. Like your basic Dragon Rush is faster than the grab, but still, it has a lot of use in misdirection and just, threatening people with it is the big thing, right? And obviously, unlike a Dragon Rush, you can do it in the middle of a block string. But yeah, so these are the grabs for Broly. Our final special move is the Gigantic Heave. while this is technically a command grab, keep in mind here, if you are crouching, it's not going to hit, as you can see here. The main reason being is because this is what we call an OTG move, aka off the ground. So this is a command grab that works on people who are in sliding knockdown. So the main uses are as follows. So say you did your big old combo, got a sliding knockdown. Okay, we got it. And now I'm just going to get a little bit of extra damage and combo out and all that kind of stuff. It's just there to get a little bit extra damage, a little bit extra bar. Or in some cases, if your hit stun decay, as in you didn't do too many hits yet, it's not too high up here, then you can do, you know, basically a proper combo. And then we can just homing dash afterwards and combo out and that kind of fun stuff, right? So there's only one other character in game base form, Vegeta, that has anything like this at all. So it is pretty cool and pretty unique. So basically it's modular. It's utility when you need it for utility, or it's just more damage when you need it for more damage. So on to the super moves. First up here, Gigantic Charge. So this is a grounded level 1 super. And this does the most damage of all the level 1 supers in a combo situation, right? Now it does switch sides, just so you know. That could be beneficial depending on how you want to look at it, right? But for a lot of people, it's not so beneficial, right? So you might want to end with a different ender, but still, it is the most damaging base level 1. Also, after the animation begins, he is full invincible. So it won't be too many situations where you'll find it's applicable, but say they're a dummy and do like full screen level 3, they can say, hey, gotcha, and full invincible right through it and smack them. And once again, it's full invincible after the animation begins. You absolutely will be counter hit out of it before you see the cinematic begin, so just keep it in mind. Our next super here is Gigantic Impact. And this is a fun super because you get to control your directions. So you can go in any of the 8 directions here, like up, back, down, up, left, right, all that fun stuff. All you have to do is after you start it, hold your direction and then just basically jam on the buttons. And each time he does it, you can choose a new direction. Choosing direction is very important for screen control. Especially if you want to do Spirit Bomb setups, also it's very key because you got to move him in the right direction, right? And on top of that, he also has a level 2 follow-up. All you gotta do is jam on the button again here, your super button, and he'll burn an extra bar and get some extra damage out. Now, it's not a lot, but there are very few characters in the game that have the ability to burn an additional bar after a level 1 super. He is one. So in situations where you have the meter and you need that guy dead, then it's absolutely a big feather in the hat, because very few people can do stuff like that, and Broly, thankfully, is one of the ones that can. The third of his level 1s is Meteor Shower. So this is unique in a couple ways here. First and foremost, it is a full frame 1 invincible super. So it's a true reversal. You cannot hit him out of it. And if you have any like gaps in your block strings or whatever, he'll absolutely just blow right through it and blow right through you, right? So watch out for that. There's not too many true reversals in this game. And Broly has one, so that's really, really good. And also, the fact that after this move, like stuff keeps happening here. As you can see, these additional explosions after the move is already over, these are active projectiles and they will hit. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, if the move is blocked, so if they block the initial meteor shower and then they touch you, those extra hits are not going to save you. They're just going to be deleted. So it's not like you can do something stupid, have that cover you. That's not going to work that way. So don't rely on it like a crutch, right? So it's not going to be that kind of thing, but still, there's going to be a lot of pressure afterwards. We'll talk about that later in the video as well. No other move really has additional follow-ups like this, at least off the top of my head anyways. It's good for self-snapbacks, it's good for pressure. It's really a wonderful move. I guess the only thing you can knock it for is, obviously, compared especially to the Charge Super here, it just doesn't do the same amount of damage. But as a reversal, as just a tool with so many options, it's fantastic. And finally, the level 3, the Gigantic Roar. So, yeah, he turns into big old green Broly, goes all Godzilla on you, and beats you down. So, as a super, it has almost full screen range. If you're exactly full screen, it'll tend to whiff, especially against smaller characters. But the range is fantastic. Not that you will often use it for that, but still, it's something to note, right? The big thing is, hey, where's the shirt, right? So after your level 3, you do get a small buff. It's not a very big buff, unfortunately. I wish it was bigger. But so say we turn on our damage values, right? So our base stand jab, 500 damage, right? And let's see what happens after our level 3. So the deal here is after level 3 and you are in your new state, you have a permanent damage buff. So now before it was 500, now 525. Now that damage buff is only 5%, but still, hey, 5%. 5% could be the difference between you winning the game and losing the game. So like, don't knock 5%, right? I bet every other character in the game wishes they had a 5% damage buff after their level 3, and they're not getting it. Only Broly is, right? So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's still certainly more than nothing. And that little bit can be exactly what it takes to, you know, tip the scales and make you win the game. So let's talk about the stomps. So the stomps have a gap in them. So if I set the enemy to block here, anything after the first stomp, so you can do up to 4 stomps in total, every single one of them has a gap, right? And I've seen some people talking about like, oh, the sky is falling and la 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 la, you know. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter as a negative, because yo, down M, stand M has no gap, and then, you know, that's what you want to do for combo stuff anyways, right? The idea of this is you're giving the enemy a chance to do something, and then you're trying to anticipate and punish the response. There's no real other reason to do this. You're basically daring them to do something while you're just, you know, stomping on them, gaining meter while they're blocking, and pushing them ever so slowly to the corner, right? So like if the enemy does it to me here, like once again, can I reflect? Absolutely. Is the gap so big I can do something else? Yes. The gap's so big I can literally jump out, right? That is how big the gap is. So if I can jump out and I can reflect, well, what are my options? Well, hey, let's show you. So first up, let's show reflecting, because once again here, we're trying to bait a response. So the answer to reflecting is very easy. It's just you cancel your stomp into a grab. You cannot reflect grabs. So if the enemy goes for a reflect after one of the stomps, guaranteed grab. And also, say they're playing very passive or whatever and they don't commit to anything right off the bat here, the stomp into grab, it works naturally anyways. So hey, awesome, right? So that totally beats out passivity if they just start accepting the stomps, and it totally stops reflex. So if you call it the reflect, go for grab, hey, free grab. Now, what about people who want to jump through the gaps and potentially punish you for that, right? Well, that's a lot harder, and obviously grab doesn't work, and stomp into raw air grab is also not a thing, just so you know, in case you thought you were going to go for like the galaxy brain play, right? But here's the simple fact of the matter. When you are at the beginning of a jump, even if you're holding back, you're not allowed to block, right? So if I catch you wanting to jump, and I immediately go into my eraser blow, the eraser blow hits on those frames where you're not allowed to block at all. So basically here, unless you're just, you know, going for the basic stuff here, which is airtight, no one can get out. Every time you go for multiple stomps, you're basically like daring them, hey, try something, try to do something, right? And you have multiple ways to hang them for doing it. Now, if they go for a jump, well, then the grab option is not going to work. And if they go for the reflect, the eraser blow option is not going to work, right? But still, it's about reading the opponent, knowing their tendencies, and you're basically just giving them just a length of rope to hang himself with, and it's very simple. Once again, don't consider this a negative, because you don't have to do it. Because once again here, just, you know, basic string here, completely airtight. You don't got to worry about the gap anyway. So if you're going for multiple stomps, you're giving them the chance to screw themselves over, so think of it in that regard. So one thing I want to talk about here, and maybe it's obvious, but just in case it isn't, the ground pound move here plays so good with assists. Like, basic example here, say we do a homing dash and we're going to back dash out, right? You know, so we get out of the way of any errant down heavies or whatever, right? And on our back dash out, we go for the L dunk. L dunk also has quite a bit of range, as you can see here. And from there, we'll just call like a Yonka assist. And hey, once you know it, you know, good pressure on block. If the enemy doesn't block the move, then all of a sudden we get a combo follow-up as well, and we just go from there, right? That's just one basic baby example. Obviously, as far as like beams and stuff go, that works out just great too. Since this move is air okay, you can like flit around, not commit to nothing, and all of a sudden just bust this out, and if you get hit, cool, full confirm from full screen. they just play very well with assists. It's one of those things where have a look at what your team is and see how you can interact with it. Some assists play better than others, to be sure, right? That's the nature of the game. But still, yeah, these moves play just really good with assists. So just two quick notes here on the EX grab here. We did go over in the basic section, you know, just how it works. And if they're in the air, it becomes the air version. If they're ground, it becomes the ground version. So one note on each of those two things. One, the grounded version here. So the regular light grab here, well, it's got all right range. The EX grab has more than all right range. As you can see here, just basically like one tick forward from the round 1 fight position, and it can get you. So it's still the same speed, yes, but the thing is, like from this far away, no one's going to respect the threat of a command grab, right? Let alone like look for it and try to react to it and all that kind of stuff. And that's where this makes this very good. Because if no one's expecting it, you can hit them from a wicked range. And once again, the X grab version lets you combo from mid-screen, unlike the normal light version. So it's just something basically to add to the threat matrix effectively. Especially because, once again, from this far away, people don't look for grabs. From this far away, when you're in the middle of a block string, yeah, sure, people are like, they're on the lookout for the grabs, but this far away, no, man, they're worried about IADs or buttons or anything else but the grab, right? So that is one thing to note on the EX version's ground part. And also for the aerial part here. So just like the medium version, it is an anti-air OK move, has air invulnerability, no, same as the down heavy. But unlike the medium version and the down heavy, it is air invulnerable from frame 1. Even the down heavy is not air invulnerable on frame 1, right? Takes a couple frames to get going. So no matter what, you will always win out, or at the very least be defended against an aerial attack if you go for the EX grab. So there's going to be a lot of situations where people are in the air pressuring you, and if you have even a single frame to match this guy out, you're going to grab him out of the air and there's nothing they can do to stop you. So two little factoids for the EX grab, making it one of the few EX moves that's worth doing by itself. You know, a lot of EX moves, honestly, are not amazing and usually not worth burning the bar on. This one, hey, in my opinion, it is. So to quickly note some notable normals. One, down S is a beam, and yes, it is a true beam in every way, shape, and form, other than the fact it counts as a normal. So it'll clash with other beams and all that, but since it's a normal, that means it is special cancelable. And since it's special cancelable, you can do fun stuff like this, which you could not do with a normal beam. Or conversely, say you have them in the corner, you can do stuff like that, right? Which is, once again, something you could not do with a normal beam. So that is pretty cool. Now, another notable normal, and perhaps the most notable normal, is Stand M. So this move is just downright stupidly good. The range on this, as you can see, is intense. Its range is so much, it actually has more range than Cooler's Down M, which is usually held as like one of the big King Kong normals of this game. So if Cooler's Down M is a King Kong normal, you can consider this like Godzilla normal, basically. It also hits at a very reasonable amount of time here. So depending on when you hit it, you might hit like later in the active frames, but up close is 15 frames. And if you want to hit from later in the active frames around here, it'll be about 17. But yeah, the range is uncontestable. And from it, you just like, you know, go right into a stand heavy, or go right into a racer blow, or whatever, like, depends on your spacing and all that, right? But just the range. Like, obviously, if people are just jumping around, IEDing left and right, like, you might want to watch it, right? But on a more grounded foe, man, like, no one can really contest this. So just, you know, hey, work with it. And the final normal to talk about that is very good is the Jump L. So Jump L has a lot of range and has a very active hitbox, meaning you can snipe people out of the air with this pretty easily, as you see with the range. If you're in one of those situations here, there you go, look at that range, right? If you're in one of the situations where you're trying to catch people in the air, just jump forward and just jam on L. The hitbox is very active, it's very far-reaching, and you'll probably win. It doesn't have a disjointed hitbox like, say, Piccolo's does, but still, it has a lot of range like Piccolo, and actually has more range than Piccolo's, honestly. So you can pretty easily rip people out of the skies with this move. So one of the things Broly is legendary for, besides being a Super Saiyan, is his friendliness and his generosity. And through this here, we have the Jumping S attack. And Jumping S attack is so friendly and so generous that no matter what, I can always get a tag out with it. So if I do it, raw tag, and I just combo it from there. And say we're even at the limits of hit, stun, decay, right? We got a lot of hits in. Can I still tag out? Well, the answer is yes. So here I am just doing a combo here. Do it this way? Nah, we're going to get another one in. We're going to get another one in. And hey, I still get my tag, right? So even at the end of a long combo, I can still do it. And hey, much to the point, you don't got to be in the corner for this stuff, right? I can be in the corner and I can still get it. So with the power of the auto combo here, we're just going to immediately just jump into S here and not miss it. Not miss it. And then we're going to tag out raw and it's going to work. Hey, and wouldn't you know it, right? So after any jump S that connects, you always get the tag. It could be Broly has a lot of recoverable health and you just want to get him out of there. That's a really good example. Maybe you just need the other character on the screen for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter. But jump S equals a tag friendly and safe zone. And since he gets to do so many in a lot of combos, depending on your combo structure, any one of those equals a free tag. So let's talk about the jump light into jump heavy link. So you may have seen combo, just example here, combo like this. And as you can see right there, on my way down, I did jump light into jump heavy, then down light, and kind of comboed out and kept going from there, right? So the thing about that is it's incredibly strict. You have to do a lot of manual timing to do that. You have to do your L and then delay and then H and then go in there, right? But the thing is, the delay is very picky. If you do it even a frame too early, you're not going to get your down light. If you do it a frame too late, then the whole combo is going to drop. It's incredibly strict all around. So you know what? Screw it. How about I show you a way where you just get an automatic timing like any old combo that you already know and you don't have to worry about that stuff. So the part of this that makes this matter here and makes us go here for automatic timing so you don't have to do the super strict link is light. So just, it's basic auto combo, right? So the basic auto combo is going to give you the exact height you need to go and make everything work. So after you do light, once again, doesn't matter what you do beforehand, just do a super jump here. And do the super jump after the explosion. Don't buffer it in. If you do this too early, it's not going to work. But if you do the super jump here, afterwards, you want to do something like that. It'll be medium light, and then just go into the basic key blast. That guy right there, right? Simple enough. You're following along. So from there, you're going to do a homing dash and do the light heavy just with normal timing. Like that. And from that point, you're just basically automatically at the right height and the right timing. You can go right into your down light from there and keep the combo going. As you can see right there. So now that we know how to do that, once again, it's as simple as that. Just light, timing is automatic. All you have to do is super jump after the explosion. You'll get the key blast, homing dash, light, heavy, no special timing needed. And now with that in mind, I'm just going to show you two example combos you can work with it. And both of them give you a meterless way, an assistless way to go into your anti-air command grab, which we'll talk about later because it's pretty important. So for our first one here, we're going to do a more traditional starter. And we have our light, and now we're just going to go to it just like we stated. So we don't do too big of a combo follow-up afterwards because we burn through a lot of hit stun decay early on. But that's just an example, right? And now let's show you another example. So for this one, we're just going to go into it right away. And there you go. That's our second example, right? You can do whatever works, or you can make up your own version of a combo, right? But that is basically the essence of it. You just got to use that light, and then we have our automatic timing. Just super jump out of the explosion. It all works out just great. No need for the super strict length. And once again, the biggest reward for this combo is by yourself, no need for an assist. You can go right into the anti-air grab and get the soft sliding knockdown, because he really only has 2 ways of providing sliding knockdown by himself. So it's really important in that regard. If you're not looking for that, hey, there's more damaging routes. There's more routes that give you more meter, right? But that is the main reason to learn this. So here, now you know. So in this section, we're going to be talking about pressure after a sliding knockdown. Specifically, the sliding knockdown after the anti-air grab, as generally that's what you're going to be doing, because it's one of his only 2 sliding knockdowns. And we got a lot of what we call frame kill pressure from this, meaning we're going to purposely whiff a move, and then our next move is going to hit basically at the mathematically perfect time that works out just best for us. So it doesn't really matter how you get to this. You can do it with yourself, doing the jump light heavy route, which we had in the previous section. You can just do a move and call your assist, dragon rush, go right into it. It doesn't really matter how you get there. The fact is that you get there. And what we're going to do from there is very simple. And what we're going to do is just withstand light. So I know that doesn't sound sexy or cool. Like, well, what do you mean withstand light, right? But whiffing stand light is basically going to eat up the quote-unquote dead time that we need for our next move to work. So we're going to show you 2 examples here, and they're both perfectly valid. You can do whichever route you want, but we're going to show you 2 examples here of what to do after you whiff that down light. So the first one is just a universal overhead. So universal overheads, if you're not aware, are indeed 0 on block. That's it. So you're both perfectly even on block, right? And what we're going to do with this setup is it's totally going to change that dynamic, and we're going to be advantage on block. So as you can see right there, we're now 4 frames. Why 4 frames instead of the usual 0? Because we're hitting later on in the move. The enemy is only waking up to the point where the move is already partially done. So since we're hitting it later in the move, we still technically, we have the same frame advantage, but since we're later in the move, we hit the ground earlier than we would have normally. Thus, we're at more advantage with the enemy. So same deal here, works with if they up tech in the air. So that's just on a back tech. Here's an up tech example. So once again here, we are wildly more advantage, right? So that's all well and good. So we have part 1 of this setup now. So if they block it, then we know it's definitely our turn, not their turn. It is our turn if they block it, right? But hey, what if it hits? And that's the beauty. You don't really think of the universal overhead as a combo starter, right? But that's exactly what it is in this situation. As you can see right there, we hit so deep into the move, we comboed right into our down light. And since we comboed right into our down light, we can just combo out from there, right? So the overhead is a combo starter for us. Now, much the same here, same deal. If they up tech in the air, we can still do it, because once again, here, that down light hits very high up. And hey, there we go. We caught him in the air. And we got plenty of time to hit confirm and all that kind of stuff, right? This is really strong. It's a basic setup. Once again, the downlight whiff lets us just auto time this setup, and we go from there. So it's basically all upside. If they block, we're advantage. It's our turn. If it gets hit, hey, it's combo time. It might be a scaled combo, sure, because overhead scale combo is pretty bad, but whatever. It's free damage and free meter. You can't argue against it. So that is why it is so important to get this specific knockdown here, because there's so much pressure for it. And that's just volume 1 here. Let's go to volume 2 here, because that's not the only thing you can do. Alright, so part 2 of this here. And we're still going to be using the same setup here. You're still going to whiff down light, but instead of the overhead, what we're going to be doing is an instant overhead medium. And why are we going to do this? Well, 1, hey, once again, combo stuff, combos still work. So even if they up tech, we still get the combo here. We just go right in the down light. If they back tech, then hey, it's just like any old combo on the ground, right? So it works that way for combos. Just the same. If they block, then whatever, we pull them down on the block as well. But it also has one added benefit. Also doubles as a safe jump. So if they're prone to mashing any invincible move on wake up, you can do this setup here and you're safe, clear as day. You don't gotta worry about it. So it provides a lot of the same bonuses and has a nice little bonus on top of that. So it doesn't really matter which one you prefer. You can do both or one or the other. It doesn't matter. But it goes to show you that he has very strong pressure after this. You know, he doesn't need level 3. He doesn't need the snapback like everyone else. And he still has snapback stuff we'll talk about later on. Don't worry about that. But he has very good pressure by himself. No need for anything other than your own character. No other extenuating circumstances, right? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Very good Okizeme by himself. And honestly, a lot of characters don't have that, right? Usually the best they do is like instant air heavy. That's it. That's all they got, right? So Broly's got a lot and very nuanced options. So the next thing to talk about here is something I'm very happy inherited from OG Broly, and that is the Eraser Blow on block. So if you look at it right now, you might see the frame data numbers here is -5, right? And you might say, well, what's so good about this? Because -5 is negative, right? It's quote unquote not my turn. Well, here's the thing. Look at the spacing between our two characters. Like, technically I am just a smidge bit negative, but what I can do easily from here that most enemies cannot is connect. And I can connect too with this, you know, the much maligned stand light. Yo, that exactly connects from that distance, right? So here's the deal. Most characters, if they start mashing buttons, jamming on buttons from this range here, what happens is they're going to whiff and you're going to smack them right in the noggin and get a full combo. Some characters with exceptionally long range moves that can also connect from this far away, they have the advantage, yes. At that point, then you can just instant air dash over it, hit them in the head, or, you know, just take a step backwards and punish with your crazy, stupid long range stand medium. So the situation is this, effectively. You are a little bit negative, but the spacing totally and fully and completely favors Broly. There's a handful of characters where it's not going to be too much of an issue, but for the bulk of the cast, the ball is in Broly's court here. Yeah, he's a little negative, but he has so many more good options from this range than most of the cast. So if you're doing any old block string and it's just not going your way and, you know, you just want to reset, this is one of the best ways to reset in the game, because you reset the neutral. If you don't want to commit to anything, you can just back off, whatever. No one's going to be able to stop you from backing off, right? But this is basically a range where you got to really keep the ranges in mind of certain moves, because Broly can easily hit and most characters can't, and that's why this is such a strong move on block. So hey, let's just talk about his Meteor Super for a hot second here, because there's quite a few angles to it. One real quick one here, if you're not already aware. After you do his full auto combo here and get the animation, if you immediately go into the Meteor Super, it'll hit him on the way down. And since you hit him on the way down, you can just go right into a self snapback here. No fuss, no muss. Don't need to do anything special. It's a bit easier if you jump with it. But you can also just wait till last second and just ground DR him too. So that's just one little quick thing here. Self snapback's always a cool and handy thing to have, right? But one of the things I really like is just the pressure after a combo. So say we do a basic combo example here. You're just going to do like a standard BNB here. And what I'm going to do here, the usual ender at the end here, the dunk, on the first, before the second hit, go right into the Meteor. And what's going to happen here is the enemy will wake up in time for exactly the ground explosion to bop him on the head. So after they block it on the ground here, as you can see, we're plus 17, right? If they up tech, oh, we're like plus 30. It's even crazier, right? So we have massive advantage, and it's a pretty big deal. Plus 17 as soon as they land. Okay, we'll go right for a grab here. They can't hit any buttons out of it. They just have to react to the grab right there. We can hit buttons. If they try to do anything, we smack them out of it. It's just a lot of stuff to it. So while this super doesn't do a lot of damage, like you are sacrificing damage at the end of the combo to do the super versus say do another super, right? It does provide just with a lot of pressure. Plus frames are always important. It's always important to be your turn and not the enemy's turn, right? So you get your damage and a reliable situation where you don't really have to guess too much because the falling energy blast does it for you. You let it hit, go from there. And hey, you know what? Say they try to do something, right? Say they don't block it, right? What happens then? Oh, cool, hit, and we just convert from it, right? That's all it is. You can very easily visually assess the hit. Just down light. You can even get like down mediums, right? But if you want to be really quick, down light, just convert out of it, right? So pressure, pressure, pressure on block, free conversions on hit. So you win out basically no matter what. Is once again not the most damaging option, but pressure is the name of the game post knockdown for Broly, especially since we went over the other sections. He gets a lot of it when a lot of characters don't by himself, and that's such a big deal. So this next one is just a little fun one. So I have the enemy here set to down heavy whenever there's a gap in a block string, right? And I'm going to use Broly's down S. And I'm going to use it up here point blank. I'm going to homing dash afterwards. And hey, what happened there? So what happened here is my homing dash, there's a small tiny gap, comes out, but there is not enough time for the anti-air invincibility frames of the down heavy to go active. So basically that means is if you do a beam up in someone's face here, very close to point blank, you can't be too far away because you're just going to get rocked, right? But if you do it pretty close up here and go for homing dash right away, you're going to hit them before they can really do anything about it. So it's basically a free homing attempt. And from there you can do all the usual stuff, right? It's just something to note. Also, same deal here, his jump S. His jump S, if you do it close enough to the enemy, it's a true block string. And if you do it just a little further out, same deal here. They can try to down heavy through, but the gap is not going to be large enough. You got to do it a little... Well, you got to do it pretty close, though. You can't do it too far away, right? But if you are close enough, you'll make it a true block string. And if you are a little further out, you'll counter hit the down heavy attempt. So it's just another way to guarantee a homing dash attempt. So between down S, very close, and jump S, kind of close, there are two ways to basically get free homing dash pressure on the enemy. Now, also keep in mind, just to call back to my earlier thing, since Broly has a frame 1 invincible anti-air move in his EX grab, you can't do this on Broly if he's a smart cookie and uses his EX grab on you. So, snapback setups. Hey, Season 2 Dragon Ball FighterZ. This is the season of the snapback, right? So, let's show you some snapback setups. So, first up here, we're going to be using a frame kill setup here. Once again here, using our down light to just kind of kill some dead time, and we're going to go right into our move. So snap back, whiff, down light, and go into jump jab. So what does that do for us? Well, what it does for us is the jump jab, this guy here, hits very meaty. It does not hit on the first possible frame it can hit on. And since it doesn't hit on the first possible frame it can hit on, that means nothing the enemy can do about it. So they just got to get snapped in and block like so many snapback setups, right? They can't backdash, they can't jump out, can't homing dash. If they have an air invincible move, I guess they can do that. But for the most part, this is basically it, dead to rights. Just do your down light right away, automatic timing, do your jump light, hit super meaty, no way out. And conversely, now that they have no way out, once that's established, all you have to do, same deal, snap back, whiff, and then just go in the jump down heavy because this is a grab, right? Once they're committed to blocking and they don't want to hit any buttons, Broly's down heavy is a true grab. So once they're just kind of frozen in fear, just chuck them, go from there. Very simple. It's basically a 50-50 setup in and of itself. Next setup here, we're also going to use a frame kill. We're going to use down medium this time as our frame kill. So we snap back, whiff down medium, and then what we're going to do right away is go down light in the down heavy. So what's going to happen is that, and yes, if they do manage to block, you're going to lose your side, just so you know. But it's just another frame kill setup. No backdashing, no jumping out. It's just one of those things I got to accept. If it hits, well then hey, down heavy, we get to smack them. And one of the valuable things about this setup is this. So you can cancel that stand heavy on block right into the command grab, very easy. And if they are prone to jumping, very tiny delay, eraser blow beats any possible jump attempt or homing attempt or whatever. So basically, if you get it, good, you get the combo. And if not, there's just another little layer of mix up here. It just keep people on their toes. And ultimately, too, the next thing is once this is established and once they're just willing to block, just wait a split second. They cross over your head, go for the anti-air grab, go from there, right? So those are some setups here for snapbacks. They're not the usual, you know, jump back, whiff, dash, all that stuff you usually tend to see, right? They're a little more unique than that, and that's good because Broly's a little more unique than the average character, which I'm very happy to say. So there are some snapback setups for you. So now let's just talk about Broly in general. So everything we went over and all that kind of stuff, the first thing is, where do you put him on the team? And in my opinion, I think, and once again, my opinion, he's a solid mid. As a point, I don't think he's as overwhelming as some of the points. Like, he doesn't benefit from having 2 assists just going berserk as much as some other characters would. He's pretty self-sufficient, so he doesn't need assists as much as other people. His assist, while it's not like Super Saiyan Goku, right? It's certainly alright, right? You can make some hay with this assist. So overall, pound for pound, in my early opinion, I think he's a mid. Once again, you can put him in any position you want, but I think he just benefits most being the mid character on a team. Now, so other than that, his basic game plan is, well, kind of basic. He doesn't have any one single overwhelming strength. Like, yeah, he definitely controls the ground really good. Like, if you want to stay on the ground, you're gonna have like use and abuse the stand medium because nobody can contest that range at all. The people with the long range slides, well, those long range slides are a hell of a lot slower than this, and you'll definitely bop them out of that, right? But besides that, you know, like serviceable Ki Blast. He can't quite play the OG Broly game because he doesn't have the piercing property on his Ki Blast, but still, you can do this, cancel into a Racer Blow if they homing dash through it. They bounce off your armor. If they hit a button, you get smacked, right? The Jump S is actually very strong, toss out neutral. Now, if you are like level with the enemy in the air, don't do it because then they can just homing dash punish you. But the thing is, the Jump S is not homing dashable itself. I know it's a basic projectile, but still cannot homing dash it. So it's just kind of mildly free to toss out. And from there, you can just go right into a ground pound. No risk. You don't get a homing dash or anything. If they block, they block. If not, then hey, cool. You know, you get a conversion and a little hit, right? But yeah, it's just... you can toss it out more than you think you can, honestly. Which is one of the best things I can say about it, right? Because it's just a big old ball of womp. And once again, they can only really homing dash you if they're level to you in the air, like air to air, once you toss it and it missed, right? So it's pretty free to toss out. And if you like wildly miss and whatever, you know, you can still do stuff in the air. So it's pretty risk free is what I'm trying to say. Besides that, the grab game is not, it's not awful, but the fact that he doesn't have a quick grab like, you know, Bluku, OG Broly, 7 or Android 16 rather, it kind of stinks, right? It gives him a little more time to react, but once again, he's got the crazy long range EX grab. That's really good. He can hit from ranges people don't expect. His medium and EX grab in the air as well is also really good for ripping people out of the air. As with all grabs, you'll get people, right? People are always going to be asleep at the wheel. Like, hey, did you ever not tech a Dragon Rush? Oh, of course. Raise your hand, right? Everyone's not tech the Dragon Rush, right? Because you weren't thinking about it. So all you have to do is present enough threats. And once you present enough threats, you stop thinking about the grab, and then the grab becomes a free deal. The grab only is easy to get out of when you're expecting it. When you don't expect it, get chucked, all that kind of fun stuff. He also has one of the better jump H's in the game, because basically the whole hitbox is what it looks like on the green aura of it, so it can also hit people just a little bit above them. So if you're just both being dummies and just both instant air dash heaving at each other and all that, generally speaking, he has a better chance to win than not. But yeah, basically you're going to win with the basics with him. You're not going to be too tricky. There's going to be no crazy high-low, left-right, all those kind of mixes. At least not yet. I haven't figured them out yet anyways. But you got what you need. You got good spacing. You have the threat of the grabs. You got big buttons. You control space really well. These are the things that win games. And this is what you need to do, right? Like, the biggest part of the game is getting that first hit. That's what wins the game. And between stuff like, you know, stupid jump M, or sorry, stupid stand M, stupid jump L, really good screen eating Ki Blast. In fact, a Racer Blow can hit people from really odd angles up far up on the screen. Armored stand heavy, all these kind of things. These are the things, these are the building blocks you need to win neutral, and he's got all the tools for it. So, in closing, Broly's really fun. I don't think he's top tier or nothing, but he's really fun. Honestly, fun matters more than tiers if you're playing fighting games every day of the week. As far as he goes, he's certainly very unique. He's definitely more unique than a lot of the cast, that's for sure, to be sure, right? He has very expressive combos. You can definitely tailor make your own combo. There's so many possible routes. I've already seen a million routes. Like, I got my own stuff. I've seen other people's stuff. And other people's stuff differs from other people's stuff, all that kind of stuff, right? He's just really cool. He's really fun. I feel he captures the essence of the character, which is really good. He's just a big old ball of anger, just screaming. And he's just a blast to play. I guess I really don't got anything else other to say than that. So I guess that is the end of this video. So I hope anything in this video helped you out. I hope you learned stuff about the character. And that's it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.